Welcome to Otakin with Dave, coming to you from his palatial fortress in Sin City, where what happens in Vegas is talked about everywhere. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, what's going on? What's happening? I hope you're well out there. I am top shelf. Got an interesting topic today. I talk a lot about homework and play. Homework and play. You people tell me. You people. How condescending. You say, yeah, they talk about homework and play, homework and play. Well, I'm going to talk today about play. Let's play, man. Here's the thing. Home and work are easily defined. I mean, work, my goodness. If you don't define it, somebody will define it for you. And especially us guys, we're all about the work. We get together, we're talking about work. Yeah, you busy? Oh, I'm busy. I'm covered up. I got all I can do. Yeah, it's about work. That's part of who we are. It has been for years. You know, I know women are very involved in work too, and more so now than in the past. And then you got a home. Home is wife and kids and friends, things around the house, entertaining, cooking out, doing the stuff, getting stuff done, paying bills, which leads you back to work. Yeah, all of that. So those two are easily defined, and they overlap a little bit sometimes more than they should. That's not what we're talking about today. Play it's just as important. Maybe not in a specific situation, maybe not in a particular time of your life, but I've said it over and over and over, and I believe it with all my heart. If you're a good husband, you're a good provider, you're a good father, you're all these things, you're a good son, all of these things. If you don't take time out for yourself, for some me time, for some play, eventually you're going to resent something. You're going to resent your job. You're going to resent whatever took your time with the family. It's going to come. There's no doubt about it. That's people who hate their job. They count down the days of retirement when they're in their 40s. They complain about the wife and kids. I'm talking from a man's perspective now, and you get it. It can go any way. This is just as much a problem for women. Maybe it's just as much a problem for women as it is men. You've got to take time out. Women, whether they're working outside the home or working much harder in the home, it's hard for them to separate that time, especially if you got young kids. My goodness, I see these young mothers, either out at ballparks or out at, the grocery store, and you got kids everywhere. They just look so tired. I want to help them. But it's weird for me to go, hey, can I hold your baby? Yeah, they put you in a special place if you do that too many times. You have to go shopping at a different grocery store if you do that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's hard. It's easy to separate work from home and home from work. You have to carve out time for play. You absolutely have to do it. It has to be intentional. It has to be consistent, because if you don't do it, it's going to bite you. You lose sight of who you are. And I'm not being psychoanalytical right now. I think that's 6 syllables. However, I know it to be true. Mountain Dew. So I got to thinking, how do we define play? I'm trying to make it easier for you to decide, okay, this is play. And the thing is, you have to knock other stuff out. No, that's work. Part of the getting to a good place process is what is the source of this stress, worry, or distraction. And so the source helps you decide. But also, I've never really thought, what is play? And one thing that rose to the top quickly is you can't be forced to play. Think about it. I love to play golf. I don't play that often. I talk about it a lot because I'd love to go play. I love it. I love it. And sometimes it's tension filled or whatever, but I mean, it's me, the club, the ball, and the course. I love it. I'd hit a good shot. That's great. I quit 15 times during a round of golf, but that one shot brings me back. I love that. If you don't love golf, me getting you to go play golf with me, that's not play for you. Nah. No. People love to camp. I know people, my wife talked to somebody the other day who, their husband retired. They got a camp, they got a RV, and for a couple of months, they're going to go tour the United States in that RV. Just drive around. Well, that's not my thing. I wouldn't mind going for a little while, but hopping in a box and yanking myself into traffic with my wife and my dogs, that's not play for me. It would be hell for my wife. My wife's idea of camping would be a Holiday Inn Express. She hates to camp. We camped one time. And the bugs and the heat. Oh, the wretched heat and the sweat. Oh, it's horrible. She hated it. So that's play for some people. It's not for her. You can't force someone to play. It's a voluntary activity. Think about kids. And when I think about play, you have to go back to being a kid. It's voluntary, but they can find play in almost everything because of that imagination, the creativity. My goodness, we used to go outside and play hide and seek, okay? Or we play Army. We didn't have guns. Sometimes we got a stick. Pine cones in the backyard. Those are hand grenades. A vicious game we're playing here. The creativity, though, that was playing. That was it. It was great. We would explore. Everything was an adventure. We were doing it together, but it was fun and it was voluntary. And the thing is, the reward of play is the activity itself. Once you start putting pay or performance pressure or things like that, it's not as much play. That's why a lot of people, they have a hobby, they love it. They start monetizing it and making money off of it. It's not play anymore. That's a business now. Or it's a competition. Or it's something else. I've seen people play golf and it's a wonderful experience. If they're in a tournament, I can't stand to be around them. We can just go play tennis and hit, have a great time. Back and forth. We can drill. We can work on stuff. It's fun. We're both enjoying it. Then when we start keeping score, So that's not play. It stops being play because the reward for play is the activity itself. One of the things I love about golf is just being out there. Looking at this course, it is beautiful. Look at the way they set this up and just being there. I'm not good, but I enjoy it. That's play to me. 2, you've got certain guidelines with play. It's not just willy-nilly. Now, with kids, a lot of times it is. You can turn anything into play with kids, but a lot of times there's some kind of structure, especially if you're doing with someone else. There's a lot of flexibility. However, if you're playing something with somebody else, you're going to the river, you're going camping, you're doing something, there's certain social guidelines, but it's very flexible. I know every year, I apologize. Every year, with barbed wire, we play at some clubs over at the river in Parker or Laughlin or places like that. That is structured. During the day, we'll go to the river. We've got pontoons. We've gotten ski boats. We've done a bunch of different things. So there's some structure to it. It's all the men and their wives, but it's pretty free flowing. Sean will be over there fishing while other people are in a tube, while other people are sunning, it's free flow, but we're all playing and it's enjoyable. It's fun. That's another thing about play. There's some satisfaction that comes from the play. So why is it so tough? And some of you may be thinking, Dave, It's not tough, man. I love to play. It's becoming exceedingly more difficult to relax. I don't know why. I'm an easygoing, calm guy. There's a lot of different things out there, but Frankie says relax. It's easier to say. You want to see somebody get all tensed up? Tell them to relax. Oh, don't tell me to relax. you know. So there's a lot of different types of play, but what really hit me when I was thinking about this is you can't force somebody to play. People will come up with ideas. You should do this. You should do that. Don't tell me I should do anything. It's got to be voluntary. So thinking about this, and I'm not trying to complicate things, but there's different kinds of play. We talk about that volunteer participation. A child, I had Lincoln Logs. I didn't have Legos. We couldn't afford Legos in the O'Connor household. I got Lincoln Logs. My goodness, just that free flow. I love playing with it. And a lot of times we would use them. I would make them for things other than to build. I would cook with my Lincoln Logs. So you got that, I'm free to stop or change or do whatever I want to with that because I use my imagination. To pretend to play, I can pretend anything I want to. It's free flow as a kid. I invent things, invent dialogue, you hear a kid playing in the other room. They're talking to somebody. They're talking to their dolls. They're talking to whoever. They're making up people. I had an imaginary friend as a child. I'm telling you, it really I think it concerned my sisters. It really concerned my dad. I had an imaginary friend. I talked to him all the time. His name was Peter. Yeah, and then from time to time, I would talk to Peter in front of the neighbors, the adult neighbors. I had no restrictions on my play as a child. I didn't have video games. No video games. I didn't, and I'm not downing video games. Back then, you didn't have that many video games anyway. But, there was nothing involved other than free time and filling that time with fun. It's fantastic. It was fantastic. And I enjoyed it. And I think to some degree, I realized it wasn't going to last forever. And I think that's part of my problem as I get older. I mean, I knew, I saw as a adolescent, I knew eventually, I saw the other people, how they were making money, in their mid-teens. They started cutting grass. Well, okay. When I was 12, I started helping my dad with the yard work a little more with the power tools. And so I was thinking, okay, that's cool. And eventually, the story, I had 26 yards I cut. Right up until I think, a few weeks before I got married, I was still cutting grass. However, I knew that playtime came after homework and chores in the afternoon. Well, I found the ability to play at school or fitted in little areas all over. As a kid, we just naturally do that. Play is almost your job as a kid. So why is it so tough now? I mean, by tough, I mean to really focus on that portion of your life. Home's easy. It's dictated to you. Work, they'll tell you what to do. Or if you're a boss, you tell people what to do and you have a role that you're playing. Play is up to you. So why is it so important? Why is play so important? And I look at different times in your life. You get past being a kid. Let's talk youth. And then, in your 20s and 40s and 60s. I like to look at it that way because it changes. Play seems to get harder. And then once you retire, it's a lot easier. I've heard. I'll never retire. But the thing is, play will support your mental health. Play reduces stress. It boosts your mood. Play will help prevent or lessen burnout. As a kid, children they're more emotionally balanced. That's one of the crazy things about that. But, after a game of make-believe or playing outside or whatever they come in, they're not all stressed out. That's a release for them. In your 20s, you got college students, and how do they unwind? Well, you have a lot more video games. I know we would do sports, intramural sports and stuff like that. And you've got academic stress. A lot of people will go to athletics. Other people will read. Other people, you do the video games. I think that might be a challenge now because social media is the opposite of play. It's a stressor. But also, there's some degree to where you earn the right to play. At my house, you go to school, you get home, you do your homework, then you do your chores, and then you've got till dark or until dinner time just to go run wild and play. Okay? So it's still earned. In your 40s, I'm thinking about what my parents did. They would have people over and they would play like board games or cards. I know we would actually, play with them too, with that kind of stuff. When I think of my kids, we may watch TV. We would go to a park. We would, take the dogs for a walk, depending on where we were. There were things we would do outside, a lot of different activities that would be considered play, but that wasn't just me. And it was a release, but still you have those parental roles. And then retirees, I don't know what that's like, but I've witnessed them. They go more to like, my parents, when Dad retired, they still did some of the same things, card games or do puzzles. Oh, the puzzles. I don't consider that play, but they seem to. It helps them relax. So play through the generations, it helps support that mental health, which is important. Also, I think play plays a big role in your cognitive skills. Do something play that stimulates the brain, it improves your memory. Maybe problem solving. My grandfather used to make puzzles. The things you put together and there's only one way it would work, in and out. He would make those, and he enjoyed other people doing that. With youth, you've got different things in your youth, different things to do instead of just going out and running wild in a field, doing different puzzles or building things with blocks, or now a lot of the video games, you're actually building stuff. There's so many video games that it's not, you're not just killing people and stealing cars. That helps with your cognitive skills. You get older and that goes more like chess. I think escape rooms. That can be fun. That keeps you mentally sharp. I've never done one of those. I sure haven't done one with my wife. My wife would panic on the way into the room, and then I would probably have to make a new door or something. That's why, play is not as easy as it sounds. And then you get older and, the trivia. I remember Trivial Pursuit. That was so much fun, and I love to get with groups of people. Some of the most fun times we've had is playing games. There's all kinds of, games, card games, not just Trivial Pursuit, but I can't think of them right now, but some that are just hilarious because a lot of it is free form, what people think or how they put something together. A lot of times I know some people, dear friends of mine, who their play is photography. It's fantastic. And now some of the things that they can produce just with their iPhone, it's unbelievable. And they love it. Then I know other people who that became part of their job, and that changes it from play to work. One thing I've seen older people deal with, if they don't do those brain teasing type things, it's in a lot of studies, people who can't wait for retirement and their idea of retirement is relaxation, their cognitive deficiencies grow, and it really touches them later on. My dad looked forward to retirement, but then my mom got sick, so that he was focused on that. Let's play. but that helped keep him sharp for longer than he would have otherwise. But using play and hobbies and creative things, I love to create, whether it's things for the podcast, which is still play for me. It is. I don't care what you say. Some of you are trying to make it stressful. Randy, you know who you are. You know, it's not working. This is play. It's a creative outlet for me, and I love it. And I think it enhances my cognitive skills. Another thing play does, it gives you a connection. Remember when you're a little kid? Oh, my goodness. I remember bouncing a basketball on the way to the park where the basketball goals were. By the time I got there, people would hear that and they would come out. Living in a circle, and you play with friends, play and kick the can, or we didn't even need anything organized. We would just play. We'd use our imagination. Then you get older, and sometimes you need something there. You need something a little more organized, like a rec league or an organized game night. You get a little bit older, and it's trivia night. Oh my goodness, my friends, the Zethners. I call them Dharma and Greg, but it's Greg and Diana. They got us into trivia, and it was almost addictive. And we would show up, and Greg would answer all the questions, and we'd take credit for it. We thought we were so smart. But that's play. That's fantastic, and it was wonderful. But you can't do that every night. It's hard to do it by yourself, too. I was eating the other night, and I just happened to be in a place they started trivia. I didn't even join. I was watching a ball game on TV, and I was having a good time. Had a great meal. I don't want to talk about that because I'm talking about play. Well, eating is kind of play for me too. I use my imagination. But then you got seniors. What are they doing? I mean, you think, physically a lot of them are held back, but my goodness, I saw a bunch of seniors hiking not long ago, and they were hiking a lot further and faster than me. But they have like bowling leagues or bridge or, staying socially active. There's assisted living facilities. Their schedule is packed and they can pick what they want. So if they're having to do something, that's not play. It's what they're looking forward to doing. And I heard somebody define that not long ago. It's doing something and enjoying to the point to where you're looking forward to doing it again. Okay. That's pretty good with play. I can buy into that. And then another thing, the play, it does encourage physical activity at every age. I can remember coming in as a boy, playing with the group, and you come in and my sisters would take, I'm sweaty and nasty and dirty, and usually I would run in time to eat. And then, hey, if it's still light, I can go back out and play some more. And just running and climbing and, all the coordination and the agility, and you're building all of that stuff. It's just to run and go crazy is wonderful. Then in 20s, it's more, and it's changed. There's a lot of cycling now. Soccer. We didn't have soccer. What, are you kidding me? But they got all of that now. And you're building play and fitness a lot of times at all these ages. When you get older, goodness, I see we played at a lot of honky tonks, and you got the line dancing. And I see there's a guy in at the Renegade. He's mid-90s now. He's still out there dancing with all the girls doing the line dancing. Chuck, you know who you are. It stays fit. It's part of it. The martial arts. Sorry for the coughing. My wife right now is in kickboxing so much, she's there right now. She loves it. That is play to her. It's wonderful. It's good for her mind. It's good for her body. I absolutely love it. And then another thing about play, why it's so good for you, is if you're curious, it feeds curiosity. There's a lot of things I'm curious about, and if I have time, I should make the time, and I do. I get those questions answered. I find that, wanting to learn, I'm more adaptable. I love discovering things. I love fun facts. My kids would probably call it dad humor. I think things are funny that probably aren't, but I think they are. And discovering these things, and just in traveling now, I'm really enjoying that. And I think play is learning many times. In your 20s, you got all this stuff. You got all kinds of. As a kid, I remember you do travel games. That was fun because we were traveling, and anything's more fun than being in a 1968 Rambler with no air condition in the middle of two sisters and a dad that's a little annoyed and mom that's just trying to hold the family together. Traveling games were great. It was fun. And then later on, you got you get married, you got your DIY projects. That can be fun. You're learning how to do things. And that's fun right up until the time where you admit you're in over your head and you have to hire somebody to do it. And then you go play golf. Cooking. I love to cook. I love to cook new recipes. I love to do all of that kind of stuff. And that's, probably in my 30s and 40s, I did more of that. I'm just now getting to the point to where I've mastered certain dishes. And they're simple, but it took a long time. So that's a pursuit. And then you get older, you got all kinds of, some people, their play is learning new languages. I would love to do that. I barely know English, but that curiosity and that lifelong learning, play feeds that. It's wonderful. So what does it prevent? What if you don't play? What if you don't get enough play in your life? Man. And we all from time to time can struggle with this. I'm jealous of people who have that right balance. I'm just now discovering it to the point to where, you look back, and I don't have a ton of regret, but it's like, I wish I'd known this 10 years ago. I wish I embraced this 15 years ago. And my wife is very good at pointing out when I say something on these podcasts. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Yeah, she's very strong with that kind of stuff. But one reason I'm really embracing this and finding things I like to do and making time for it is to keep things that would happen otherwise. For instance, stress and burnout. I mean, if it's all work and family, that resentment will come in. But however, you don't have any leisure time. Your health is going to suffer. You need time to decompress. Some play is total relaxation, doing nothing. Oh, that's tough. I can't even sit outside for very long without getting up and walking around. Well, I'm walking around. But what that does, that stress and burnout, it leads to chronic situations. Chronic stress means I can't not be stressed. I'm not able. I'm emotionally fatigued. And when you get burnt out, it's literally, you're burnt out, and it's exponentially tougher to rejuvenate yourself. You got a high pressure environment, and that high pressure environment can be a mom with small children. It's not just work. Work gets all the credit for that. No, it's that mom who, it's the most precious things in the world. And young mothers go through, oh goodness, the stress, the guilt, the insecure, all of this stuff, because I've got the most precious things in the world, and am I screwing them up? And they feel guilty if they relax. That's why it's so tough. Also, if you don't relax, your brain is not fit to build your problem-solving skills. Play encourages imagination and creativity. You need that when the defecation is hitting the rotary oscillator and you have to problem solve. Yeah, that kids learn that. Kids can adjust to it, but they don't have the consequences as a child. Now, when they're a child, they think they do. Everything is life or death. However, a lack of problem-solving skills a lot of times comes from a lack of creativity, understanding the options, adapting to new situations. play helps with that. Because while you're playing, you're more creative. You overcome fun challenges, and overcoming that makes you better at that, which makes you want to play more. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Also, depending on what you're doing in playtime, I feel like I'm running a daycare here. I kind of am. It's also the less playtime or social playtime you have, you're losing your social skills. You really are. And you're probably hurting some relationships. I've got friends who play pickleball, and you would think that they rediscovered oxygen or something. Well, that's great. I don't play pickleball. I don't have anybody to play with. And even when I did, I didn't that much because of that. I've got all this other stuff going on. Excuses is what it is. But play fosters that connection with people. If you're playing with somebody and you're better than them, all right, well, you have a little bit of empathy. You want to help them, so you communicate more. You bring them along. Oh, the satisfaction that brings. I've done that in tennis my whole life. But without that shared playful experience where it's not life or death, it's not getting a deal or not, it's not selling this, it's not getting a bonus at work, it's not doing something at home that's going to upset or the threat of not thrilling, your family. That's a lot of pressure. Play diminishes the pressure. It isolates that to the point to where it's not as much of a struggle. So when all you have is home and work, and it's a struggle, you're not as much fun to be around. So you've got weakened social skills, and your social relationships are suffering. And not just that, your health. Let's just talk about it. Play endorses physical activity and mental activity. It encourages all of that. Without that, people become more sedentary. We've talked about that. Then you're going to gain weight. You're going to have cardiovascular issues. You're not going to be as mobile. And over time, it becomes an uphill battle. Then, when you have time to play, my health is suffering. And it can be the same way with mental health. It's just too much. It's just too much. And a lot of people don't start because it's up here, not their physical health. So you don't want to do that. And I think the biggest drawback to not playing, not making that part of your life, is you're going to be less resilient. You're not going to be tough. You're going to give up. You're going to be more negative. There's, I guess, overall, less joy. Play and joy go hand in hand. Kids out there playing, the laughter. Oh, the look on their face. It's fantastic. The same way with adults. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to master anything. You don't have to be in control of anything when you're playing in the real sense of the word. Without it, anxiety creeps in. Depression can creep in. You're more irritable. You're probably more emotional. Play is the opposite of all those things. Just go out and play. Give me a stick and some mud as a kid. Well, it's almost that simple now. And that's why I do gratitude posts constantly. Man, I'm just so glad. I'm glad the sun's shining. I'm glad it's not windy today. The wind messes up my hair. Just little things like that. Play helps you enjoy those things. Yeah. So, going back to how do I get back to it, Dave? I realize, and I'm here myself from time to time. I go through seasons where I'm just busy. Sometimes I'm busy playing, but a lot of times it's other stuff. And so understanding that is the first thing. But how do we bring play back into our lives? First of all, you got to decide that's what I need to do. You got to realize I'm not playing enough. I'm too serious. When's the last time I just did something because I wanted to? I had nothing to do, and I kept it that way so I could do whatever I wanted to. So let's talk about some practical ways to bring play back. Play. I'm 60 years old. I want to play more. Can Dave come out and play? Yes, he can. First thing, schedule. This is going to sound like an oxymoron. Schedule unstructured time. I say it in front of groups, and a lot of times it goes right over their head, but I plan an exact amount of time every day to be completely spontaneous. I get a chuckle every now and then. Okay. Schedule unstructured time, because play thrives when you give it space. No goals, no outcomes. Block out. If you can't block out an hour, block out 30 minutes a few times a week. I put it in my calendar. I put it in Outlook. Boom. And a lot of times it's just a space blocked out. Nobody can bother me. Don't bother me. And I'm not going to bother myself during that time. I might not even know what I'm going to do. I may draw grapes on a piece of paper. I may just scroll the channels. I love to just hang out back and drink a cup of coffee or whatever. Go for a walk, whatever. But just don't do anything. And then when that time comes, what do you want to do? You know what? I'm going to put on Brandy by the Looking Glass and sing that. And then while I'm singing it, whatever one-hit wonder comes to my mind, I'm going to play that next. I'm going to do that for an hour. That sounds like fun. Thunder Island by Jay Ferguson. Fantastic. Smoke of a Distant Fire by Sanford Townsend Band. See, I just went to play mode there. These are the songs, man. It's a soundtrack of my life. I'm going to do that for an hour. You don't think I'm going to be grinning and singing along, singing the words wrong, dancing? That sounds like fun. That sounds like play to me, So schedule some unstructured time. Go back to your childhood. Let's revisit some of the stuff we liked when we were a kid. Let's think about that. What did we do? I mentioned Lincoln Logs. If the neighbors saw me getting a stick and playing in the mud, that a rubber truck may pull up. But when's the last time you rode a bike? Do a puzzle. What are some games you loved as a kid? Some of this can be, it can be with you and your spouse. You don't have to do this alone. But a lot of times, reliving that. So revisiting what you did as a child, I could call either one of my sisters right now and say, what games do we play in that 1968 Rambler with no air condition? And they would remember games I didn't remember. They would. And we would have a good time talking unstructured and just let it go where it is. And don't talk about serious stuff. I like the talking versus the texting, because the texting can be very sterile. And with texting, I can't hear them laugh. And laughter is so important when you talk about play and childhood joys. Just the laughter. I love it. Third, let's talk about if you need to get involved in something. If you want, join a group, a club if you want. My wife has joined a kickboxing group. She's got 2 different groups she goes to now, and she's made her. I said, what if these groups meet? Then they find out you're cheating on them. But that's important, because if it's a group and they meet a certain time, you're going to go. That way, I can't really bail out on play. I want to, so I might as well. Maybe you start a sport. Maybe I used to go serve tennis till somebody showed up, and then I'll see if I could hit with them, just until the rest of their people got there. Before long, okay, I'm part of that group. Maybe that. There's different classes, people moving to new areas. There's all kinds of stuff. Even in assisted living facilities, you got structure, you got games, you got social time, you have all this stuff. You know why? Because it's important to play and belong. Start a new hobby. Get a new interest of some sort. Hiking. My goodness, I got a hiking stick, hiking shoes, and a backpack. You would think I was a professional hiker. There's a lot of things that you can do, but joining a group or a club. It's like-minded people. This is play to all of them. It's voluntary. It's fantastic. A lot of it is, I play with my dogs. I love to play with my dogs. Dogs know how to play. You can't figure it out. Goodness gracious. Go online and just look at YouTube or TikTok videos or something of puppies or dogs or baby goats. Oh my goodness. Look at them. Look how happy they are. But dogs, I got 3 in there. 1's 7 and 2 are 8 months old. They're still puppies. They know how to play. To watch them play with each other is play for me. They've got that playful spirit, Yeah, when I did different things, but I wish as an adult I could go out and build a fort. That's what we used to do. Oh, the dream was a tree house. Oh, that would have been great. But you can make anything into a fort as a kid. Well, okay. I'm 60 years old. If I want to, I can build my own fort. You know what adult men forts are? Their garage. We put meticulous detail into our garage. Our garage is a fort. Go play in your fort. It's fantastic. I can kill a ton of time voluntarily, and I love doing it. But playing with my dogs, I watch them play. It makes me want to play. And then I tell you one thing, and it can be a good time bomb. To me, time bombs, I use that. I'm going to do a sales podcast at some point. I hate to give away secrets because I get paid for them. Anyway, a time bomb is something that you're going to do. You don't know when or where, but when that goes off, you do something. It's a trigger. I say for play, say yes to when the opportunity presents itself. By that I mean, be silly. Have a time to be silly and laugh about things, or be spontaneous. Break out of some routine. My goodness, we went to we had a surprise birthday party for my son. We flew in. I flew my daughter in and everything. We dressed like wrestling characters. Well, I dressed like Roddy Piper. I had on a shirt that said Hot Rod and a kilt. You may have seen the pictures. I had a kilt. I wanted to wear a kilt. I had a cape. Roddy Piper didn't have a cape. I wanted a cape, so I put a cape on. I even put a mask on for part of it. Yeah, he didn't wear a mask. I wanted to wear a mask. So I took that opportunity to be completely ridiculous. I lost the cape. I lost the mask because it was too hot. But I hung out in that kilt all day. I was hanging out and getting pictures made with nobody that was dressed up. And here Dave is in a kilt. It was fun. We'll look back at those pictures for years and we'll forget the first part. It's like, is that a kilt? What's up with your dad? Not that he doesn't get asked that all the time. But try something unexpected. Karaoke is so much fun because people, they don't care. They're just getting up there talking and singing. They don't have to be good. And the ones that are trying to be good, they're not playing. It's a competition for them. Wear something quirky. Take a new way home. Try some new places. Me and Steph are going to either clubs or restaurants. No repeating. We're going to new spots. We'll go on a pub crawl, and it's all new places. That's the rule. We can never have been there before. That's play. I am fortunate in that I love, and this may not sound nice, I love to play with my wife. We have so much fun laughing at each other. One good thing about that and playing with other people, you have a shared experience you can talk about. You go back, hey, remember the time? It's fantastic. Now that my daughter's married and my son's got Cece, and we love Brandon and Cece, we're making new memories. We play together, and every time we get together, we're not talking about 5 years ago when maybe somebody wasn't with us and they couldn't participate. I think that's important. So when you put a priority on that, it enhances everything else. Mondays, I don't dread going to work. I don't dread having a day full of calls. Some days, more than others. I'm normal in that regard. However, I fill my weekends with play of some sort. I like to fill my nights with play of some sort. Here's the thing. It can't be optional. You have to look for it, and you have to guard it. You have to guard those times as just as precious, in some ways, as work. Just as precious as serious family time. And you're lucky if you have a family, a group of friends, that you can have playtime separate, but guard it. Plan the time, not necessarily the details, and keep it fun, keep it voluntary, keep that imagination going. Include physical parts, include mental parts, and all of that will come together. Because play has a couple of things that I want to repeat. It's voluntary. You got to want to do it. And if play is successful, you're going to want to do it again. Otherwise, it's less than play. If you're not looking forward to it, then it's not play. Also, be spontaneous. You got to be spontaneous. You don't have to play for an hour. You can play for 5 minutes, and that's going to help. And you may have to build on that. Now, I feel the need to say this. Some people play all the time, and they can't keep a job, and they're divorced 4 times, and their kids won't talk to them. All right, well, let's hold on there. That's when play gets out, the balance. And I'm not going to say work-life balance. It is so important for you. Be selfish. Find time. You don't have to play with everybody. You don't have to join a club. Take time to relax and do what you want to do. It's going to make you a better employee. It's going to make you a better family member. It's going to make you a better friend. You have to be selfish with play. It's crazy I'm having to say this. And as most of these O-Talks go, I'm talking to myself. I really am. But I want you to be happier. I want you to be more successful. And part of personal productivity is use every moment to the fullest. And that includes play. I hope this has got through to you in some way. If you're thinking, Dave, I have no problem playing. If I talk to your spouse, that would probably be the case. Maybe. But what is real play? And I hope I've hit on that today. So thanks for hanging out. Hit me up at david@otalks.com, dave@otalks.com. We're doing some things with the website. Hit that. I'm starting to get out more and do more face-to-face coaching. So if for you or your team, give me an hour and I'll make you more productive. I can guarantee that. So thanks for the support, but most of all, thanks for Talking with Dave.
Hey there, are you having computer problems and can't get the help you need? Is there a language barrier or other obstacles that make you feel insignificant and unappreciated? We know just how you feel, and we are here to help. We are the Amish Tech Team. The Amish Tech Team is known for their work ethic, quality craftsmanship, and attention to detail. The Amish Tech Team will ride to your house, assess the situation, and leave you feeling good about the experience. Oh, Jedediah was just a lovely young man. He didn't fix my computer, but he built me a new desk, repaired my roof, and planted 2 rows of corn in the backyard. All of our technicians at the Amish Tech Team are English-speaking, respect traditions, and know their way around a grist mill. Send a letter by mail or carrier pigeon today, and when we get it, we will hop in the first buggy available and head out to your place. And the first 10 requests will get a complimentary jar of sorghum or an Amish Tech Team horseshoe to use as a paperweight. It's a real horseshoe. You don't have to put up with services that put you on hold or talk funny. Contact the Amish Tech Team and we'll be right out as soon as we get your message. And get free of our chores and load up the buggy and travel to your place, depending on traffic and the weather and those dad-blame motorized vehicles and all those bright lights and shiny signs that keep distracting the horse and tempting the youngins.
And giddy up.